When this case gets going, you're going to see that everything's a lie. And so we are left asking the question is, why are they lying?
This girl walks in with I guess it was a black skirt, a black leather skirt, and she was wearing peep toe, a nude color like the patent leather Christian Louboutins, and was cuddling up, having a cocktail with the dude that looked like a nerd. The picture that you showed me, I believe that one more so than the other, because that was more of the description that she gave me. And she was just kind of like, dude, like, is this really like that girl that her husband got murdered and she's Christian? And I'm like, shut up, you did not see her there. She's like, yeah, she was there with one of the dudes that is a regular there.
People process grief in different ways, but online discussion has pointed to Erika Kirk after she was reportedly seen on a date with Blake Wynn at a very private Beverly Hills spot. The alleged outing took place on May 14, just 7 months after Charlie Kirk's public tragic passing. According to an eyewitness account that has not been independently verified, Erika was said to be at bar 1912 with Blake Wynn. The same source claims she showed up in a fitted black dress, with a Hermes bag, red designer heels, and her hair worn straight with a full glam look. Based on that account, the evening did not seem like a business meeting, since it was described as just the two of them together. The witness also claimed they were seen more than once in what was described as compromising positions, though those details remain part of disputed online chatter.
I was with this guy right now, and I asked her, I said, were they like chummy with each other? And she was just like, dude, chummy wasn't the word. She was like, they were like pretty much all over each other. And she's like, aren't you guys like not allowed to drink because you guys were like hardcore Christian?
Wow. I have now confirmed through 2 separate sources that Erika Kirk has already moved on, and fast. A trusted eyewitness who knows the Beverly Hills hotel scene personally saw Erika Kirk on Thursday evening, May 14th, at the ultra-exclusive invite-only bar 1912, getting very intimate with Blake Wynn. They were hugging, kissing, and the witness says he had his hands on her ass. She goes on to say Erika was also heavily intoxicated. This is from the same woman who claims to be a devout trad Christian who doesn't drink.
One reason a lot of people started side-eyeing Erika and leaning into this idea that this could be true is the very sharp reaction she gave after the story went public. She responded directly to Project Constitution, the outlet that first shared the claim, and said, "Every single word here is a lie. Charlie's love will last me a lifetime. The Lord is the only one who can ever fill that most painful void." On May 14th, I was home in Arizona celebrating my son's 2nd birthday. Blake, who is reportedly about to be engaged to his longtime girlfriend, was a dear friend of my husband's, and I am grateful for his continued support, just like hundreds of others. Your deranged obsession with me and blatant disregard for any form of truth whatsoever is deeply disturbing, and I am praying you get the help you so clearly need. Brush off the Dorito dust and go touch grass. Blake Wynn then responded shortly after, saying, "Blake Wynn here. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to the cesspool of bots and ex-users that spend their entire day making things up under the guise of journalism, but I am not dating Erika Kirk." Even with both of them weighing in, a lot of people still are not buying the story. Many online pointed out how unusual it looked that Erika answered this claim so quickly, especially compared with the questions she has not directly addressed. Critics have also brought up concerns around the new TPUSA and the various claims and irregularities that some viewers continue to discuss regarding Charlie's tragic passing and the limited information surrounding the investigation. What made the whole thing stick online was not just the claim itself, but the way it collided with an already tense public conversation. Once a story like this starts circulating, every response, denial, and timing detail gets picked apart, and that is exactly what happened here. Some viewers argued that the quick back and forth only made the discussion louder, while others said the public reaction had already moved far beyond the original post. At the same time, the broader criticism around TPUSA kept people watching closely, especially those who felt there were still unanswered questions floating around in the background. For critics, that meant the situation was not being viewed in isolation, but as part of a larger set of online debates, uncertainty, and disputed commentary surrounding the aftermath of Charlie's tragic passing. That is why the conversation kept stretching on. Even without official confirmation supporting the original claim, the back and forth gave people more room to speculate, question motives, and read between the lines, which is often exactly how these kinds of internet stories keep growing.
Erika Kirk has been accused of having prior knowledge and being on Fort Huachuca, but she's given no direct response to this. Erika Kirk is accused of not being with her mom on 9/10 like she claims, but has not given a direct response. Erika is accused of using AI to create audio of Charlie appointing her CEO, but she's also had no direct response. Erika is accused of grooming a 15-year-old girl, but she has given no direct response. But when Erika Kirk is accused of dating someone else, she states in a post to Project Constitution, put down the Doritos. So she literally will not respond on very serious claims. And this could be due to many reasons. Maybe she wants to sue Candace Owens for this stuff. Maybe she's trying to figure out her story. I don't know her motives, right? But it is very weird that she will respond to a dating rumor over very serious claims.
Another reason people have been side-eyeing her is that Blake Wynn has seemingly remained a constant presence in Erika's life. In December, barely 2 months after Charlie's tragic passing, TPUSA reportedly hosted a $10,000 per plate black tie gala at Mar-a-Lago, and Erika was spotted there with Blake Wynn, according to online chatter. At the time, some viewers focused on Erika's enthusiasm about donors and views, along with her full glam look and sheer dress, which became a major point of criticism. It's
unfathomable, but yes, by the end of this year, we'll be hitting 5 billion within all of our accounts, which is incredible. I'm so definitely not going to be slowing down at all. I'm actually really excited about that.
She's very excited. It's definitely incredible. Me personally, I could fathom it. And I'm happy that she was so excited to be at this event at Mar-a-Lago less than 3 months after her husband was assassinated.
But now, some observers are circling back to Blake Wynn's own comments about that event. In a quote that has been making the rounds online, he said, "I can't say enough about how beautiful of an evening turning point put on at the Mara. Lego Club this past weekend, speakers, athletes, and founders are often inspiring. But Erika Kirk is more than that. She's one of one, just like Charlie." He was also reportedly seated at the same table with Erika Kirk during that high-profile White House correspondent dinner, the one that later sparked the viral "I Just Want to Go Home" video. People online have also pointed to footage that appeared to show him walking her out of the event. Then, at another gathering where Erika received an award honoring Charlie, the two were seen together again. From there, the allegations started getting even louder online, with some sources claiming Blake Wynn may be the next person drawn into the same so-called setup that Erika and her mother, Lori, allegedly pulled Charlie into. Those claims remain unverified, of course, but the online chatter has framed Blake Wynn as fitting the type of man Erika Kirk is said by critics to target. And that is exactly why the conversation has not tragic passing down online. For a lot of people, it is not just about one photo, one dinner, or one awkward public moment. It is about the pattern they think they are seeing, even if none of the more serious claims have been verified. Reporters continue pushing back, saying people are reading too much into every appearance, while critics keep treating the repeated sightings and comments as part of a bigger story. That split has kept the discussion moving in circles, with each new clip or quote getting picked apart all over again. At this point, the real issue is less about certainty and more about perception, because once a public figure becomes the center of that kind of online debate, every detail starts carrying extra weight. Online chatter has described Blake Wynn as the quiet, nerdy type, the kind of guy some viewers say might easily be drawn to a polished blonde with a pageant background. He also comes from an extremely wealthy and well-connected family, according to the way people have been talking about him online. His uncle, Steve Wynn, is a billionaire casino figure, art collector, and real estate developer known for helping build major Las Vegas properties like the Bellagio. He is also Jewish, which some commenters have pointed to when talking about his connection with Erika's Shabbat Shalom views. What has kept people talking even more is that he later spoke on a podcast about how close he is to Erika Kirk, a comment that drew extra attention because it came barely 2 months after Charlie's tragic passing.
This is 30 seconds into the podcast. Blake Wynn, let's call it less than 2 months, 6 weeks to 2 months after Charlie Kirk passed, had this to say about his regard for Erika.
In my 50, almost 6 years on this planet, aside from my now wife, I have never been drawn to somebody that I utterly adore quicker than you.
That's very nice of you to say, and the feeling's mutual.
So just to give you a setup, the bald guy whose picture's on the left, that's the Fargo guy. I think it's his last name, Fargo. The guy in the hat that you can't see his eyes, that's Blake. That's Blake Wynn.
It's interesting. I mean, you and I, one of the first times we spent extended time together was obviously one of the worst mornings of my life. I was with you at breakfast when I found out about Charlie Kirk being shot. And it's one of those things that separate from that situation, I've sort of asked myself, why was I with you? And you fit into a very small bucket of people that I have in my life where, it's so easy to look up to people. And I've been very fortunate in my life to get to know a lot of my business heroes very well personally, people like my Uncle Steve, people like my grandfather, and then also people who have just become major successes or a lot of our clients and things like that. But then there's this much more rare bucket. Erika Kirk fits into it, you fit into it, and a couple other people fit into it, which...
Okay, so they must be close. They must be close. Okay, so this is one of the first things we find on this.
Online critics have argued that Erika's grieving widow image has been under pressure since the beginning, and not only because of the leaked audio that circulated days after Charlie's tragic passing, where she was heard describing his memorial as the event of the century. What people keep pointing to is a pattern they believe they have seen, with repeated claims that she has leaned more toward publicity, donations, and a polished public image than toward the questions surrounding Charlie Kirk's tragic passing. Recently, Candace Owens said she first assumed Erika might have been threatened, pressured to avoid the investigation, or at the very least, though that remains her view and not confirmed fact. And that is why every new comment, photo, or public appearance keeps getting pulled back into the same debate. For people following this online, the issue is not just whether any one claim can be proven, it is whether the public image being presented matches the way these moments are being interpreted by viewers. That gap between perception and proof is what keeps the conversation alive, because once people start filling in the blanks, even ordinary interactions can take on a much bigger meaning. Supporters say the criticism goes too far and turns speculation into certainty, while skeptics insist the repeated timing and close connections are hard to ignore. Either way, the discussion has settled into that uneasy space where no one agrees on the full story, but everyone is convinced something matters. And as long as those questions keep circulating, every new appearance tied to Erika or Blake is likely to draw the same level of scrutiny, whether the claims behind it are verified or not.
She's scared they're going to kill her. Maybe, like you said, she just wants a quick conclusion to all of this. Maybe she's still in shell shock and is actually not controlling anything at Turning Point, was my initial suspicion. And just on paper, she's CEO, but she's actually just home crying every day and behind the scenes, Tyler or Justin. I went through that whole thing, and for me, I never want.
However, in light of her behavior after the troubling events of September 9th, Candace has suggested that Erika may have been involved in some way, though that remains her opinion and not a verified fact. She also said that the least traumatic part of losing her husband was becoming a single mother, because she had already seen that example modeled by her mother, Lori Fransvey.
Erika sat down for an in-person interview with the New York Times days after Charlie was publicly assassinated, and she confirmed to them that the least traumatizing part about Charlie's assassination was the prospect of her now having to raise her children alone, because she had seen the example set for her by her mother growing up.
There is also the reported recreation of the tent where Charlie had his tragic passing, something Erika was said to have approved, which only added more questions and more online debate. That is why the conversation has not faded, even as people disagree on what any of it really means. Once online audiences begin connecting private moments, public remarks, and disputed details, the story stops being about one isolated appearance and turns into a much larger argument about image, timing, and trust. Some viewers say the criticism has gone too far, while others believe the pattern is exactly what makes the scrutiny unavoidable. What keeps this storyline moving is that every new development gets filtered through the same lens, and that lens is already shaped by grief, controversy, and a lot of unresolved questions. So even small public gestures can be read in very different ways depending on who is watching. Supporters see unfair speculation Critics see too many coincidences, and the wider audience is left trying to separate verified facts from the noise. That tension is what makes the discussion so persistent, and it is also why the next round of reactions is almost guaranteed to land hard.
And you can see from behind me, this is a recreation of the tent where Charlie Kirk lost his life at Utah University in September, and people are taking selfies with it.
I can't.
What about the claim that Erika ordered clothes from a low just 24 hours after Charlie's tragic passing? That detail has been circulating online, and people are still debating what it might mean.
This person emailed me, and I'll put it on the screen, that they work at Aloe, and they looked up Erika's account, and it appeared that she had spent over $1,000 buying Aloe clothing the day after Charlie was...
Or there was also online chatter suggesting she may have gotten a fresh manicure set done, something fans noticed after she reportedly asked to be recorded, and later shared a video of her crying over Charlie's body, according to that discussion. And that is exactly why people keep dissecting every small detail, because once a story like this takes over online, even ordinary choices start getting read as messages. Some viewers think the reaction has become too intense, while others argue the criticism grew because the timeline and the public image never lined up cleanly in their eyes. At this point, the discussion is not just about one dinner, one outfit, or one viral clip. It has turned into a broader debate about grief, privacy, and how much a public figure can do before people start projecting their own conclusions onto the moment. Supporters keep saying the chatter goes too far, critics keep saying the questions are fair, and that clash is what keeps the conversation alive instead of letting it fade away.
Now, the casket video. I want you to take a look because we're going to talk about something important in the casket video that nobody's talking about. Okay, here we go.
Hey, look. God bless you.
When I saw her nails, I was like, oh, she's wearing the OPI Naughty on My Honeymoon color. I own this color. And I want to point out to everybody that this is a fresh gel manicure.
Erika was also said to have had her hair extensions adjusted and appeared polished and put together just days after her husband's public tragic passing. That is exactly the kind of detail people keep circling back to, because many are asking how anyone is supposed to look camera ready on what should be one of the hardest days of their life. Then there are the more serious claims making the rounds online, including speculation that Erika may have used AI to refine Charlie's voice in an audio recording where he was said to be naming her as his Tapusa successor. She also drew criticism after saying Charlie was not under pressure from donors, even though Candace Owens shared text messages that some viewers believe suggested Charlie was worried about his safety. And according to the same discussion, Erika had his phone.
He, the night before, texted and said that he thought they were going to kill him. And not only that, but she explicitly denied that on Glenn Beck.
She did deny that.
Until I clocked it and said, well, Andrew Colbert told me that he was one of the ones that received it. And then it became the story about, oh, maybe it was in Telegram. Dan Flood received a message as well. It wasn't on Telegram. It was on iMessage. So who deleted it? Or were you lying? Or did somebody delete it? Okay, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe someone took his phone in between and deleted all that. I don't even know why you have his phone, actually. I feel like that should be in evidence. But it becomes increasingly hard that no one is attacking the substance of what I'm presenting.
Those questions, along with the chain of events being discussed online, have pushed some viewers to question whether Erika matches the grieving image she has presented publicly. When people connect those reports to earlier clips with former boyfriends, her pageant background, and her TV appearances, a few online commentators have started framing her as someone who has often moved within high-profile circles, much like claims Elizabeth Lane once described in her own way. Some critics have gone even further, suggesting Charlie may have been one step in that larger climb, while others say that kind of conclusion is far too speculative. At the moment, much of this remains unverified, but the internet is doing what it does best, digging, comparing timelines, and debating every detail it can find. If this story has you thinking, like, subscribe, share, and comment with your take on whether the online claims hold up or fall apart, and see you on the next one.